There was a time when I had all the words in my mind, but none of them came out of my mouth. I understood everything, but I stayed silent. I was trapped inside my own fear, and that silence was slowly killing my dreams. Subscribe to JA Info Urdu for daily English confidence stories. Let me tell you something honest. I was that person who sat in the back of the class. I was that person who pretended not to hear when someone asked me a question in English. I was that person who smiled and nodded, even when I didn't understand everything, because I was too afraid to speak. My mind was full of English sentences. I watched English movies. I listened to English songs. I read English books. But when someone stood in front of me and asked, "How are you?" I froze. My heart started beating fast. My hands became cold, and I said nothing. Do you know that feeling? That horrible, heavy feeling when you know what to say, but your mouth refuses to move? That moment when you feel small, weak, and invisible? I lived with that feeling for years. One day, I was sitting alone in my room. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I asked myself a very simple question. Why am I silent? I thought about it for a long time, and then I realized something. I was not silent because I didn't know English. I was silent because I was afraid of mistakes. I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid that people would laugh at me. But here is the truth. Silence is also a mistake. Silence is the biggest mistake. When you stay silent, you lose opportunities. You lose confidence. You lose yourself. That day, I made a promise to myself. I said, I will speak, even if my English is broken, even if I make mistakes, even if my voice shakes. I will speak. And I started small, very small. I didn't start by talking to people. No, I started by talking to myself. I stood in front of the mirror and I said, "Hello, my name is..." Just that. One sentence. My voice was weak. My pronunciation was not perfect. But I said it. The next day I said 2 sentences. "Hello, my name is..." I am learning English. I repeated it 10 times, 20 times, until it felt normal. Every day, I added one more sentence. I talked about my day. I talked about my feelings. I talked about my dreams. I talked to the mirror like it was my friend. And slowly, something changed inside me. I stopped being afraid of my own voice. Then I moved to the next step. I started reading out loud. I took a simple English story and I read it slowly. I didn't care if I made mistakes. I just focused on moving my mouth, using my tongue, and letting the words come out. After 2 weeks, I recorded my voice. I listened to it. And yes, it sounded strange, but it also sounded brave, because I was trying. 1 month later, I spoke my first English sentence to another person. It was a shopkeeper. I said, "How much is this?" My voice was shaking, but I said it, and he understood me. He replied, and I felt something I had never felt before. I felt powerful. From that day, I never stopped. I spoke to anyone I could. I made mistakes. People corrected me, and I learned. I didn't wait for perfection. I chose progress. Now, let me tell you the most important lesson I learned. You will never feel ready to speak. Never. If you wait until your English is perfect, you will wait forever. Perfection is a lie. Action is the truth. So here is what you need to do today, right now. Step 1, find a mirror. Stand in front of it. Look at yourself and speak. Say your name. Say where you are from. Say what you want in life. It doesn't matter if no one is listening. You are listening, and that is enough. Step 2, read out loud every day. 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Pick any English paragraph, any story, any article, and read it with emotion. Feel the words. Let them flow. Step 3, stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. The person you need to impress is yourself. Remember this. Every fluent English speaker was once a beginner. Every confident person was once afraid. Every voice you admire was once silent. The only difference between them and you is that they decided to speak, even when they were scared. So stop being silent. Start being brave. Your voice matters. Your words matter. You matter. Subscribe to JA Info Urdu and start your speaking journey today, because the world is waiting to hear your voice.